तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ जयन्ती मङ्गलकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवदात्री स्वाहा स्वादा नमोस्तुते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia.
Sairam Sharma, Sairam from New Zealand. Thank you, Swami, for giving us this opportunity, Sharma and I, to share some divine information about one of the heavenly realms, of which there are as many as grains of sand on the beach. And the topic today is the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. Now, for our Western listeners, and bearing in mind I came to Indian spirituality, or Swami spirituality rather, it's not so much Indian as Swami's teachings. I was raised in a very devout Christian family, and we had two destinations that we could go to after we passed away. One was heaven and one was hell. There was no other realm. And I thought this was very unfair as a child. I thought that there should be a lot more places that you could go. Now, heaven, in our teaching, was manned at the gate, and there were gates to heaven, just like there are gates in many other folk stories about what heaven is. It's not just Christianity that has heavenly gates. But we had someone called St. Peter, who was supposedly up there at the gate. He had a big golden key. This is what we were taught. And he had a great big book in it with our names written in it. And the names said whether we were good or bad. And so if we were good, he would open the gate and let us in. And if we were bad, we got sent down below, which was not such a nice place. Now, this was very scary for a child of my age. And as I was growing up and getting more interested in Eastern spirituality, I was very heartened to see that there were lots and lots of realms and lots of different kinds of heavens. And all the gods had different little locations, little lokas, they were called realms, where you could go. So I found this much more democratic, that there were lots more places, and one of them that Swami spoke about a lot was Vaikuntha, and this was the realm of Lord Vishnu. Now, for our Western readers, listeners, Vishnu is the managing aspect of God. He's the manager. He keeps everything running. And one sage in India said to me, Lynn, do you know what God stands for, God, this word that you all use, God? And I went, well, He's the guy up in heaven running things, I guess, the creator. And he said, no. He said, you want to hear how we look at it. G stands for the generator, the creator, and that is Brahma. Now, O is the operator. That is Lord Vishnu. He keeps all the creation running, managing it. Brahma has created it, but he doesn't want to manage it. He gives it to Vishnu. He manages it. And D stands for destroyer. That is our Lord Shiva. He's very good at destruction. He can reduce everything to ash. Everything in creation has to die and be reduced to ash. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I went, oh yeah, I heard that. I've heard of that. So that was helpful for me as a Western chick trying to get my head around Eastern spirituality, which I was very attracted to. I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted in Western thought. And so I was finding that the stories of Eastern spirituality were fascinating, because any story, any good story, has got values in it that we can learn, human values, on how to live a good life. Now, Vaikuntha, as I was saying, this is the realm of Lord Vishnu. He's the operator. He's the big manager in chief. And it is said to be a place of great bliss. And it has gatekeepers, just like St. Peter is the gatekeeper of the Christian heaven. Now, the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha are a couple. Now that seems to me to be much more democratic, as I was saying. If Vishnu is the CEO, then his office is Vaikuntha. It's the ultimate paradise. And it's a place where his every word is law and his every wish is a command. And what cannot be resolved anywhere else in the universe, in creation, can only be resolved in Vaikuntha. So this is a cool place, and everybody wants to go there. I mean, just from salesmen to consumers and even kings of other kingdoms who want to, explore opportunities, make alliances, settle disputes, manage threats, they all want to go to Vaikuntha. Managers, executives, trainees, they all want to go to Vaikuntha because Lord Vishnu welcomes all, or at least he intends to. But anyway, he's got some gatekeepers, and obviously they're kind of like bouncers. They screen people, and there were these two gatekeepers. It's a couple, of course. Like I said, that's much more democratic, and their names were Jaya and Vijaya. Well, no, actually they were men, but who knows? Sometimes they're men, sometimes they're women. Doesn't really matter. They are the Doorkeeprs. Now, the story goes that there were these boy sages. They were actually really ancient beings, but they looked like little boys. Very wise beings, but they looked like little boys. And they were called Kumaras, or Sanat Kumars. So they went to Vaikuntha, and they wanted to meet Vishnu. They go knocking on the door. But they're stopped at the door by Jaya and Vijaya, and they said, look, Vishnu's having a nap. He's sleeping. He can't see you now. Well, this enraged the little boy sages who, like they weren't little boys at all, and they had great powers. And so they cursed them to be born as human beings down here on Earth, and that they would have to go through 3 incarnations and have to put up with being killed by various incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Now things start to get a little bit confusing here, I know, for my Western listeners, but hang in there. They're the twin gatekeepers. They've been cursed to lose their divinity and take place in this material world. And of course, the reason being they've got to overcome 3, here we go, the lucky number, 3 bad qualities, which are anger, lust, and greed. Now that we can all relate to that. We all know people who suffer from anger, lust, and greed. And so who knows, they might have been downfalls from some other, distant heaven as well. We don't really know the big story that's going on behind the scenes here. So anyway, in one age, and as we all know, there are 4 ages, the golden age, and then the not so golden age, and then the age where everything's falling to bits, and then the age that we're in now, where everything is falling to bits, and that's the Kali Yuga. So these 2 were reborn as demons, and they were killed by Vishnu once when he was a boar, once when he's like a man lion, half man, half lion. I mean, I can tell you this really attracts me as a book illustrator. And in other ages, as various other kinds of incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And the funny thing was that in this age, the Kali Yuga age, they didn't have to be killed by Vishnu at all. They just got to be sort of, just hanging out. So there is a great lesson here. Swami often spoke about the mortals who are forced to suffer here as a result of not being dharmic, as being filled with lust, anger, and greed. These are, of all the 7 deadly sins, the worst are lust, anger, and greed. And we as humans can certainly feel for these 2 gatekeepers who were, well, I think a Christian would call them fallen angels, who knows what, but they have to go through suffering on this earth because they were rude to these divine beings. Now, we're talking about another realm here, and Swami used to say that his parents, who had passed away, used to come and visit him from the realm of Vaikuntha, that they went to Vaikuntha, and they would often bring him things. In fact, the boys who looked after Swami in Yajur Mandir often said that they saw a lady, an older lady there. Who was she? They said, because there's no way anyone can get in here up to Swami's quarters. There's an elevator. No one has access to it except his caregivers. And Swami said, well, that's my mother. She's come from Vaikuntha. She's brought me a new robe. She's brought me a belt. She's told me not to accept handkerchiefs from people in the crowd. I might catch a cold. And he said, towards the end of his earthly sojourn, Swami said, my parents are coming to me every night from Vaikuntha. Everyone there is missing me. They are begging me to come home. How extraordinary is it to think that these realms exist? And yet I was informed by an office bearer in one of the trusts that Swami had revealed that he has created a Sathya Loka, a special realm for his dearest and nearest, his devotees who want nothing from him but to give him their love. Those of us who just love him and want to make him happy. He has created a special loka just for us. That is why we tell these stories. That is why we like to remind everyone who Swami really is. He's not that little fellow in the orange robe with the big hair. That was just a form he took in this age to get our attention. As he said to our chairman at the time when they were walking together, our New Zealand chairman, who said to Swami, Swami, you are so beautiful. Swami said, no, not beautiful. But this body has taken a form that is appropriate for the mission for which I have come. He has come to give us the greatest bliss, to help us realize that we are not just gatekeepers to the kingdom, that we are its rightful inhabitants of the realm of bliss, of the realm where everything is more beautiful than anything we can imagine. Those were Swami's words. And it's worth noting that he said also, the golden age that is coming, and it is not far away now. In fact, we are just beginning to see the very beginnings of the golden age on this earth. Swami said, it will be more beautiful than anything we can imagine. It will be Vaikuntha on earth. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Tasmad karunya bhavena raksha Saishwara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Saishwara Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.